call the March 28, 2023, 3 p.m. session of the Henry County Board of Supervisors to order. I'd like to welcome all of our visitors. Remind you that if you want to address the board, you must sign up 7 days in advance of any of our regular meetings to be put on the agenda. The county administrator is the contact person for the board. However, the public may address the board under the agenda item, matters presented by the public that will be taken up later in the meeting this evening. Again, welcome everyone. Thank you for coming out and participating in your county government. Our first item of business today is agenda item number 5, items of consent. What is the pleasure of the board?
Mr. Chairman, for no additions or corrections, I approve.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second to approve the items of consent. Any discussion? All in favor? It is 6-0, Jennifer. Agenda item number 6, a monthly report on delinquent tax collection efforts. We have with us County Treasurer Scott Grindstaff. Scott, welcome.
Thank you. Good afternoon. This is our report as of February 28th, 2023. Personal property collection. We have collected 94.86% of the 21 personal property tax. We collected $42,545 during the month. Please note this is the 21 because the 22 was due in February, so starting next month we'll get a report on the 22 personal property taxes. Real estate collection as of February 28th, we have collected 91.45% of the 22 real estate. We collected $261,088 in the month. Since January 1st, 2023, tax has collected $210,906. And so far in the month of March, we've had 9 DMV stops collected, and the debt set-off figure is the same as last month that we've collected since November of $343,439.
All right. Does anyone have any questions of Mr. Grindstaff? Okay, we will see you in our evening meeting when we take up a public hearing in regard to dog licensing orders. Thank you. Agenda item number 7, Mr. Wagner is going to update the board on this at a later time. Mark Heath is meeting with a client this afternoon, and certainly we always are encouraged by any time we have clients in town. So we will take that up later. Agenda item number 8, Ms. Buchanan, I believe that you have a proclamation for the board's consideration.
I do, Mr. Chairman. This is a proclamation recognizing National Library Week. Whereas the Blue Ridge Library system provides the opportunity for everyone to pursue their passions and engage in lifelong learning, allowing them to lead their best life. Whereas our Blue Ridge Regional Library has long served as a trusted institution for all members of the community, regardless of age, race, ethnicity, creed, ability, or socioeconomic status. Whereas our librarians and staff strive to develop and maintain programs and collections that are as diverse as the populations they serve and ensure equity of access for all. Whereas the Blue Ridge Regional Library adapts to the ever-changing needs of Henry County, Martinsville, and Patrick County, continually expanding its collections, services, outreach, and partnerships. Whereas the Blue Ridge Regional Library plays a critical role in the economic vitality of our communities by providing internet and technology access, literacy skills, and support for job seekers, small businesses, and entrepreneurs. Whereas our libraries are accessible and inclusive places that promote a sense of local connection, advancing understanding, civic engagement, and shared community goals. Whereas libraries are cornerstones of democracy, promoting the free exchange of information and ideas for all. Whereas libraries, librarians, and library workers are joining library supporters and advocates across the nation to celebrate National Library Week. Now, therefore be it resolved that the Henry County Board of Supervisors hereby proclaims April 23rd through the 29th, 2023 as National Library Week. During this week, we encourage all residents to visit the Blue Ridge Regional Library, explore the wealth of resources available, and learn there is more to the story of our library. Signed, Jim Adams, Chairman, Henry County Board of Supervisors. Mr. Chairman, I move that the board adopt this proclamation.
Second.
Have a motion and a second. All in favor? It is 6-0, Jennifer. I'm going to ask Vice Chairman Bryant, Ms. Buchanan, and Mr. Dillard if they will present this to, we have a couple of members from the library system here today. If you all will present that on behalf of the board.
Extra. Perfect timing.
Thank you all very much.
All right. Agenda item number 9 will take up financial matters. 9A, an additional appropriation referencing the Appalachian Regional Commission Partnerships for Opportunity and Workforce and Economic Revitalization Grant. Mr. Wagner.
Certain this has been mentioned on several occasions, but Henry County has received grant funds of $665,000 from the Appalachian Regional Commission. This amount is in addition to the $641,700 that were appropriated last month. These grant funds collectively will be used to complete Section 6A and 6B of the Dick and Willie Passage Trail. That is the section that starts at the end of the current trail at Mulberry Creek and will run to the trailhead on Spruce Street. And once these two sections are completed, the entire Dick and Willie Trail will be approximately 11 miles in. Staff is asking the board to appropriate these funds for this purpose.
In regard to this appropriation, what is the desire of the board?
Mr. Chairman, go ahead.
Go ahead.
Mr. Chairman, I make a motion to approve the additional appropriation of $665,000 received from the Appalachian Regional Commission Partnership for Phase 6A of the Dick and Willie Passage.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any discussion? All in favor? Is 6-0, Jennifer. Agenda item number 10 will take up informational items, starting with comments from the board and beginning with Mr. Zaire.
No, sir.
Mr. Dillon.
No, sir.
Mr. Bryant.
No, sir.
Ms. Buchanan.
No, sir.
Mr. Slaughter.
No, sir.
And I have none. Mr. Wagner, I believe that you have an item that was laid at the boards in front of the members. There was an addition to our agenda today.
I have one item for consideration that requires action and then some informational items I'll follow up with. In 2022, the Virginia General Assembly approved the School Construction Assistance Program and appropriated funds toward grants on a competitive basis to local school boards that demonstrate a commitment and need for funding for construction, expansion, or modernization of public school buildings. Our school administration is currently working on an application for this program and has asked for a letter of support and commitment from the Board of Supervisors. Having the support of the board will strengthen the application, and staff has prepared a resolution for your consideration, and I can read that to you now if you wish. The resolution is for the application to the Virginia School Construction Assistance Program in the 2022-2024 biennium. Whereas the School Construction Assistance Program was created at the 2022 Special Session 1 of the General Assembly through the 2022 Appropriation Act. And whereas the Henry County School Board is desirous of applying for these funds for the construction, expansion, or modernization of public school buildings, and demonstrates a commitment by applying for projects currently on the school system's local capital improvements plan. And whereas the Henry County Board of Supervisors supports the applications to the School Construction Assistance Program. And whereas the Henry County Board of Supervisors implemented a legislatively permitted 1% increase of the Virginia sales tax designated specifically for school construction and capital projects, providing a consistent stream of revenue for the next 20 years. And whereas the Henry County Board of Supervisors has a formal agreement with the school board to ensure that at least 50% of the carryover funds are returned to the school board for ongoing needs. And now therefore be it resolved that on this day, March 28, 2023, the Henry County Board of Supervisors hereby supports the Henry County Public Schools application to the Schools Construction Assistance Program and will strive to maintain the percentage of local revenue dedicated to public education through the duration of the project. And it's a signature line there for Chairman Adams to sign. And Dr. Boone is here from the school system if you have any additional questions related to this.
As far as the resolution in support of the application to Virginia School Construction Assistance Program, what is the pleasure of the board now hearing this resolution?
Mr. Chairman, I move we approve the resolution in support of the application.
Second.
Motion and a second. Any discussion? All in favor? Is 6-0, Jennifer. Okay, you continue.
Just a couple of information items. I'm pleased to report that the Commonwealth of Virginia reimbursed Henry County on Friday of last week for its 25% share of the construction cost of the adult detention center. And just kind of refresh your memory, the total all-in cost to construct the adult detention center, which includes a generator that we still need to purchase, is $73,293,642. We received reimbursement from the state of exactly $18,875,216, which is actually 26% of the total cost that we spent on the jail, leaving the total cost to Henry County at $54,518,426. Related to that, in the near future, the board will need to appropriate the funds received from the state so we can use it to make a lump sum payment on the debt service for the adult detention center. And since it will be more than 1% of the total county budget, a public hearing will have to be scheduled to go along with it. But we'll have more information for you on that at a future meeting. Are there any questions on that? All right, just a couple of dates for you to make sure it's on your calendar. Tuesday, April 4th at 5 p.m., we will present the county administrator's proposed county budget for your consideration. And do you have a preference on location? Would you rather meet in this room or in the fourth floor conference room?
Which is easier for you, presenting it?
Either one's fine.
In case we have any sort of overflow, that room becomes a little tight. Would it be okay with everyone we do it
Sure.
in here?
I don't get this one, right?
What time? 4?
5 p.m.
5
is
p.m.
on the schedule.
We've had this since.
And then we also, on Thursday, April 6th, at 5 p.m., we have a budget work session scheduled. And I would suggest that being on the fourth floor conference room, just so we can spread our books out as we talk about it.
Okay.
One additional date, April 11th at 6 p.m. is scheduled the Employee Service Banquet Program at the Bassett Train Station. If you haven't done so already, please let Michelle know that you will be attending. And then April 22nd from 9 a.m. to noon is the county's Household Hazardous Waste Day at the Bassett Service. That's all I have for now, Mr. Chair.
All right, thank you. With that takes us to agenda item 11, closed meeting. If someone will cite the Code of Virginia, allowing us, under the Freedom of Information Act, to go into closed meeting.
Mr. Chairman, I move the board convene in closed meeting under the following sections of the Virginia Freedom of Information Act. 2.2, 3711A1 for discussion of appointees to the Blue Ridge Regional Library Board, Henry Martinsville Department of Social Services, and Patrick Henry Community College Board. 2.2, 3711A7 for discussion of pending legal matters. 2.2, 3711A3, discussion and acquisition disposal of real estate. 2.2, 3711A5, discussion of as yet unannounced industries.
Second.
Have a motion and a second. All in favor? It's 6-0, Jennifer. I'll see you all upstairs in 5 minutes. Meeting on a motion by Ms. Buchanan, second by Mr. Zaire. Mr. Powell, will you poll the board?
Yes, sir. Board members, to the best of your knowledge, only public business matters lawfully exempted from open meeting requirements under Code of Virginia Section 2-2-3711 were heard, discussed, or considered in the closed meeting. How do you vote? Mr. Adams?
Yes, sir.
Mr. Slaughter?
Yes, sir.
Ms. Buchanan?
Yes, sir.
Mr. Bryant?
Yes, sir.
Mr. Dillard?
Yes, sir.
Mr. Zare?
Yes, sir.
Mr. Zaire, I believe that you have an item for the board's consideration.
Yes, Mr. Chairman, I move the board issue a refund of business license fees for the years 2021 and 2022 to Rucci Traders Incorporated in the amount of $20,468.25 and appropriate the money from the county's general fund balance. The refund represented an erroneous overpayment by the business.
Second.
Have a motion and a second. Any discussion? All in favor? It is 6-0, Jennifer. Mr. Wagner, do you have any other items of business that we need to consider before a recess?
Yeah. Here, yeah. Mr. Dillard's got to make a
Apologize.
motion. Yeah.
Mr. Dillon, you have an item for the board's consideration.
Yes, sir. I'd like to make a motion that we offer a public hearing on April 17th at 7 p.m. related to the Vesper Solar siting agreement.
Second.
Have a motion and a second. Any discussion? All in favor? It is 6-0. Jennifer? Now, Mr. Wagner, do you have any other items?
we got
Miss-
I think you did.
an appointment.
What's your point?
Patrick Henry.
Oh, I apologize. I'm jumping way ahead. Mr. Slaughter, I believe that you have a district appointment for the board's consideration.
Yes, sir, Mr. Chairman. I make a motion that we appoint Stu Warren to the Patrick and Henry Community College Board for an unending term starting June the 30th, ending June the 30th, 2024.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. Any discussion? All in favor? It's 6-0, Jennifer. Board members, do you have any other items of consideration prior to recess?
No, sir.
Okay, seeing and hearing none, we will recess until our 6 p.m. session. We'll call the 6 p.m. session of the March 28, 2023 meeting of the Henry County Board of Supervisors back to order from a recess of our afternoon session. I'd like to welcome all of our visitors tonight. Remind you that if you want to address the board specifically on the agenda, you must sign up 7 days in advance of any of our regular meetings to be put on the agenda. The county administrator is the contact person for the board. However, the public may address the board under the agenda item, matters presented by the public that we will take up as agenda item number 18 tonight. Again, welcome everyone. Thank you for coming out and participating in your county government. Our first agenda item tonight is agenda item number 12, general highway matters. We have with us Lisa Hughes from VDOT. Lisa, welcome.
Thank you. Evening. Just a few things to brief you on. Our spring transportation hearing, that's scheduled for May the 16th at 4 p.m. The only thing I don't have is a location, but it's usually at one of the hotels in Roanoke. But I'll pass that on to Mr. Wagner when I get the location, but that's May the 16th at 4 p.m. And then your secondary six-year plan public hearing, that will be at the next board meeting from 6 to 6:30. And, remember our annual allocations, probably around 140,000, so, small scope projects are what we're looking for. So, anyway, we'll be here for that. Like, we just started one of those projects, the storm sewer there across from Drury Mason. That was on your six-year plan, so we've got that work started, should be finished in a couple weeks. And the only other thing, our surface treatment schedule, that's our tar and gravel surface treatment schedule, will probably start around the first, mid-April. We've got about 20 miles throughout the county that we're doing. That's quite a bit more than we've had in the past, so that's a good thing. But that'll be starting up, and you'll see that on various routes, and just a few of the larger routes on Daniels Creek, the upper end. I know we've got Old Quarry Road to do, Hidden Valley Drive, Hell's Fish Pond, a lot of roads off of that. So we've got a pretty good schedule coming up. And then our paving schedule, our plant mix, our asphalt overlays, that'll start after that, probably around the 1st of July. And that's all I had.
Do any of the board members have any items for Ms. Hughes at this time?
We usually hit her pretty hard before the meeting.
Okay.
All right, thank you
All
very
right,
much.
thank
Thanks,
you.
Lisa.
Agenda item number 13, Parks and Rec staff are here tonight to recognize some of the winning teams of the winter sports program. We have with us from Parks and Rec, Daniel Reynolds. Mr. Reynolds, would you come up and lead these presentations for us?
So we just wrapped up our winter sports, which is boys basketball, junior basketball, senior basketball, and girls volleyball. Our boys basketball had a great season. Our junior league, we had 16 teams come out. We haven't had 16 teams in probably 9 or 10 years. Our senior league, which is for 11, 12, 13-year-olds, we had 10 teams, which is up by probably 2 teams a year. So basketball, we had good numbers. First team we have up is Mount Olive 1, which is coached by Alexei Harrison, and Alexei is not here yet. So anybody from Mount Olive 1, come on up. Yeah. Come on up right up front.
Mr. Reynolds, I don't think Mr. Harrison would be upset if his wife comes up in his stead, his better half.
Come on up. Here you go. Say it.
Can't get you guys in a bunch in. Just go over here.
And our senior basketball was coached by Robert Kent. Anybody with FC5, come on up.
Two taller ones in the back.
Ain't as young as he used to be, you know?
Who wants to hold the trophies?
Small European.
We'd like to thank all of the ones participating in the sports, and we know that it takes the support of not only the coaches, parents, grandparents, or even friends of the team to put that together. But sports in a child's life is a very important thing. They are making friendships and memories that last a lifetime, and we applaud all of you for your part in making it happen for these young people. Mr. Dillon, I think that you've in the past have requested that we at least recognize them. Do you have any comments to offer?
Yes, sir. Just want to commend the coaches and their families, because it's such a sacrifice for you to be at the games, practice, to work with someone else's child, someone else's children, and to put the time and the energy that you do into these young folk. And definitely want to commend you all, and everyone else who makes Parks and Rec operate, Mr. Reynolds and the gym supervisors, the officials, and even had some officers come out to some ball games. And definitely to the young folk, give yourself a hand for sticking with it. Give yourself a hand, young folk. And I encourage you all to treasure these moments, build friendships, and look at the healthy lifestyles that you get from participating in athletics. And I'm hearing so many young folk talk about things that they do to manage anger and anxiety and social issues. Athletics is a way as well. Learn to continue playing sports, exercising, jogging, walking, and don't feel like you have to turn to substances to manage your behaviors. But you can manage behaviors with athletics, with music, with writing, with poetry, with other things besides what a lot of people are choosing to do. So you're off to a great start. Keep working at it. And I'm going to say this, and you guys might get upset, but that's my favorite player right here. I officiated a ball game. He made 5 3-pointers, and he was very excited. Yes, sir. You right here with yes, sir. Yep. Yes, sir. He made 5 3-pointers and just brought some great energy. Keep working at it. And I know you play for FC as well. Thank you, Mr. Adams.
All right. Thanks again for you all for being here tonight. I know that equally as much as you were anxious to be here to receive this, you're anxious to get home to do homework. So if you choose to leave, please do so quietly and respectfully, because we do have other business items tonight. But again, thank you for your presence here tonight. That takes us to agenda item number 14. We'll have a public hearing on a proposed amendment to the Henry County Code of Ordinances regarding dog licenses. Mr. Wagner.
So last month, Treasurer Scott Grindstaff asked the board to consider changing the county ordinance to allow for lifetime dog tax. A public hearing must be held before changing the ordinance. The public hearing has been properly advertised and scheduled for this meeting. And in addition, Mr. Grindstaff is here should you have any additional questions for him.
With that, I will open the public hearing to take input on this from anyone desiring to comment. It's 6:10 p.m. Is there anyone wishing to participate in this public hearing on the proposed amendment to the County Code of Ordinances regarding dog licenses? Seeing and hearing no indication that anyone, I will close the public hearing also at 6:10. Board members, you've had this as part of your packet. Do you have any additional questions before we decide any action tonight, or do you choose any additional information from the county treasurer? If not, what is the pleasure of the board?
Mr. Chairman, I make a motion to approve the changes in the county ordinance regarding the dog license as presented.
We have a motion and a second. Any discussion? All in favor? Is 6-0, Jennifer. Agenda item number 15, public hearing, rezoning application R-23-04, William W. Hitt. We have with us our Director of Planning and Zoning, Mr. Lee Clark. Mr. Clark.
Okay, this property is located on the southwest side of Ward Road between the addresses of 178 and 400 Ward Road in the Irishwood District. Tax map number is 43661A1. The applicant here is requesting the rezoning of approximately 8.1 acres from suburban residential district to agricultural district A1. And the applicant wishes to build a home on the property and use the land for agricultural purposes, including the keeping of animals. Following a public hearing, both the Planning Commission and staff recommend approval of this request.
I will open the public hearing to take input on this rezoning application at 6:12 p.m. Is there anyone desiring to participate by comment in this public hearing? I see a hand. Yes, ma'am. Come forward, and while you're coming, I have a brief statement in regard to our public hearing. This is time for public comment. We welcome your participation in tonight's meeting. We're here to listen to you. If you care to address the board, you're coming to the podium, state your name, the district in which you live, and by coming to the podium, you've agreed that you'll exhibit respect for the board and its members. You'll receive the same consideration from the board. Please try to keep your comments to about 3 minutes.
Okay, I can do that.
State your name if you would,
My name is
please.
Jessie Ward, and right across from where this is going to be is, they were talking about sheep and things like that. I am a farrier, and I work at all kinds of animals, and oh my gosh, they smell so bad. And I worry about that. They were gonna put the house in the back and then put everything else right in front of me. And I want them to be there and to love where they're at, but to put that so close to coming up through there, it's a lot of smell to that. I work with them sometimes, and you have to wash your clothes twice with those. But I don't mean to be ugly about it, but to keep that as far away as it could for those smells that were right there. Okay? All right. Thank you.
Thank you. Is there anyone else wishing to speak at this public hearing? Yes, sir.
Yeah, so I'm Justin Hitt. I'm Mr. William Hitt's son. He's in Colorado. Folks have brought up some very valid concerns. There's a well pipeline there. There's potential for all agricultural farms to have some smell. A well-managed farm wouldn't have a smell, though. The key thing about the zoning change is that to have a workshop. So my mom's into wool work, making fiber, quilting and knitting, and my father's into a little bit of blacksmithing. And of course, they're going to have animals on the site. It wouldn't be in their best interest to have any smell at all. It is a narrow lot, so the agricultural zoning is required in order to have the animals, to have a workshop and the proper shelter for the animals. It's likely going to be a large building. So I just wanted to reinforce that they will be certainly good neighbors. They're doing this in Colorado on a small scale. They're into organic farming. And so the intention is for people not even to notice, other than maybe some wildflowers and some herb gardens. But I can also answer any questions if other folks have concerns.
Is there anyone else wishing to speak at this public hearing? Yes, sir.
Mark Wingfield. I live on Ward Road. It's a beautiful neighborhood. It's got a lot of nice, pristine woodland in it. And I'm just concerned that the rezoning is going to cause the Mount Olive Rowing Club, the adjoining ball field, the dwellings down Ruth Harrison to be side by side with, I'm not sure what, is it going to be a farm? Are we going to have cattle, horses, sheep, goats, pigs? And what's that going to do to the adjoining neighbors, to the ball field, to the Rowing Club? our property, the creeks, the environment. If it's a farm, it should be farmland, not woodland. And I'm just concerned as, what is proposed, what's being said, this is all we're gonna do, this is what we're gonna do. But then, if it's rezoned, we're gonna have a big farmland with all the woodland gone, and horses, sheep, cattle, goats, what have you. I really don't want to see the woodland destroyed, and I really don't want to see the neighborhood down Ruth Harrison burdened with the what comes with farm and farm animals. And I'm not sure what it's going to do to the Rueton building environment and the ball field. So that's my concern. Thank you.
Thank you. Is there anyone else wishing to address the board in this public hearing on this rezoning?
Mr. Adams, I'd like to ask Lee Clark to,
If you'll hold your
Okay, yes,
comments
sir.
until I close the public
Yes, sir.
hearing, please. Anyone else wishing to address the board? With that, I will close the public hearing at 6:18. Mr. Dillard. Yes, sir.
yeah, just wanted to ask Mr. Clark if he could respond to those concerns in reference to the Rueton, the baseball field, the smell, just a generic response to those.
There was quite a bit of discussion at the Planning Commission meeting about the type of uses that Mr. Hitt's father or parents would implement on that property. I don't remember how long the public hearing lasted, but it was quite a bit of discussion. Quite frankly, the Planning Commission discussed it quite a bit, and they believed and trusted what Mr. Hitt proposed there. In regards to the woodland or the trees there on the property, irregardless of how it's zoned, we don't have control over whether someone cuts the trees, cuts the timber on their property. They could do that today, regardless of how it's zoned. Whether the Hitts proposed to do that, we didn't ask, because that's not something we can control anyway. The distance that these uses will be from other properties, the Plan Commission considered it pretty reasonable, considering on both sides of the property. The Farrier's on one side and the Rueton Club is on the other side, the ball field that was mentioned. The ball field has lights, they're used there at nighttime. Quite a few children are there and playing. Planning Commission used that as an example of the noise, of the activity that takes place there. And they really felt that, given the fact that the property is across the street from industrial uses, Absolute Machines, the other heavy uses that are there, that it fit quite well. The fact that the pipeline runs through the property means that there's a good portion of the property that can't be built upon, that might only be good for farming and or grazing animals on it. So given where it was located, the Planning Commission was pretty comfortable with its location between the Farrier, the Rueton building, across from the industrial uses, and the other residence that does adjoin it is at least 200 plus feet of their own woods on their own property to shield it. So that's,
Okay.
anything else?
No, that's good. I actually rode through, and there's a lot going on, when you first get on that road. And, so this, somewhat seems to fit right in, maybe it's a little larger scale, but it seems to fit right in with some of the things that are going on at the top of that road anyway.
We didn't have anyone on my planning commission to speak to the smell of sheep, but I'll take Ms. Ward's word for it, so.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
Mr. Chairman, I'm a member of the Mount Olive Realty Club. I've been the president for 5 years, and now I'm the vice president of the Mount Olive Realty Club. And we, as the Realty Club, had a meeting on this subject here last board meeting that we had. And we was concerned about it, as anybody would be with somebody new coming into the neighborhood, per se, that's going to destroy the environment or do something to the environment, which is, you're used to seeing woods and stuff like that, taking the woods down. And as you had said, and I hope most people caught that we've got no control of people taking down the woods. The property owner can take the woods down at any time. You don't have to have any special zone ordinance or anything like that to cut the trees off your property. I'm gonna hope that Mr. Hyatt would hold to a high standard in taking into consideration the neighbors that you've got that's been there for quite some time. We at the Realty Club, we're gonna take that into account too, that we hold you to a high standard of that. Because the Realty Club is composed of mostly elderly people, and you know how mostly elderly people are, they're concerned about the environment. So I'm just saying that, hopefully that you'll be a good neighbor and a good home resident, for the area.
And Mr. Hyde, I think you said your dad was going to grow some herbs. There's some herbs that can grow in Colorado that we can't grow here in Virginia.
No, sir. No, sir.
I just want to make sure we're clear on that. I know it's not, but just want to be clear.
Mr. Dillon, this
Yes, sir.
being your district, do you desire to make a motion?
Yes, I'd like to make a motion that we approve the rezoning request as presented.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any discussion at this time? All in favor? It is 6-0. Jennifer. Agenda item number 16, public hearing for rezoning application R-23-05, Everything Outdoors LLC, Travis Crouch. Mr. Clark.
Okay, this property is located in the southwest corner of the intersection of Virginia Avenue and Camilla Drive. It's in the Reed Creek District. Tax map number 16A126A. The applicant here is requesting rezoning of approximately 1 acre from agricultural district to commercial district B1. The applicant wishes to construct a billboard on the property. This particular use would require the issuance of a special use permit by the Henry County Board of Zoning Appeals also. Following public hearing, both the Planning Commission and staff recommended approval of this request.
I'll open the public hearing to take input on this rezoning application at 6:25. Is there anyone desiring to comment on this public hearing? Seeing no indication as such, I will close the public hearing at 6:25. Mr. Slaughter, this is in your district.
Yes, sir, Mr. Chairman, I make a motion that we approve the request.
Second.
Have a motion and a second. Any discussion? All in favor? It is 6-0, Jennifer. Agenda item number 17, public hearing for rezoning application R-23-06, Everything Outdoors LLC, Travis Crouch. Mr. Clark.
This property is located in the northeast corner of the intersection of Camilla Drive and Thornwood Drive in the Reed Creek District also. Tax map is a portion of tax map 16.8, lot 124, and the applicant is requesting rezoning of approximately 5 acres from suburban residential district to agricultural district A1. The applicant wishes to construct a large storage shelter on the property. One of the arguments the Planning Commission was well aware of that a good portion of this property is located in a floodplain. It's been covered in water many times. We've probably all seen it at some point in time. And for that being one of the reasons, following public hearing, the Planning Commission staff recommended approval of the request to agricultural A1.
I'll open public hearing to take input on this rezoning application at 6:26. Is there anyone desiring to comment on this public hearing rezoning application? Seeing no indication as such, I will close the public hearing at 6:26. Likewise, Mr. Slaughter, this is in your district.
Yes, sir. Mr. Chairman, I make a motion that we approve the rezoning request.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any discussion? All in favor? Is 6-0, Jennifer. That takes us to agenda item 18, matters presented by the public. Is there anyone wishing to address the board under matters presented by the public? I see a couple, I actually see several hands. I saw this gentleman's hand first, this one second, and I saw yours third. So, yes, sir. And the same procedure applies to this. State your name, keep your presentation to no more than 3 minutes.
No presentation. I'm going to try to keep it less than 2 minutes. Trey Lopez with Vesper Energy and the Axton Solar Project. Good evening, Mr. Chairman, board members, staff. I just wanted to come here to speak to the board members and inform them that as part of Axton Solar's special use permit, one of the conditions put on the project is to put in place a siting agreement with the Board of Supervisors. Just want to inform the board members that we have formally submitted a draft siting agreement and just ask for consideration be given to the contents within the siting agreement. That's it. Less than a minute.
All right, thank you. Okay, I saw this gentleman's hand second.
My name is Jim Roberts. I live in Stanleytown. My purpose is very simple. It's to urge the supervisors to consider my request that we strengthen our ordinance for solar panels. It can be enhanced, and I've made several suggestions to enhance it. And I was led to believe that the proper approach was to work with the administration, but the administration says that the proper approach is to seek endorsement from the supervisors. So I seek that endorsement to do nothing more than to improve, not to eliminate, not to dissipate, but simply to improve, to strengthen the solar panel ordinance. Among them are the deficiencies that have already been found by the Virginia Department of Environmental Quality. We have nothing in our ordinance that addresses this kind of situation where a permit has been issued, the solar panel project is underway, but our state government has found deficiencies that have resulted in fines. We, the county, have no recourse. We do nothing. There's nothing to stop us from continuing to do business with these kinds of endeavors that are not abiding by laws and regulations. So that's just one simple little example that we can tweak our ordinance to address that kind of phenomenon. In fact, we don't want to do business with people who violate laws and regulations, but it's not in our ordinance. So I'm prepared to work with Mr. Clark to make these kinds of enhancements. Maybe he will find some of them too excessive or perhaps inappropriate. But at least let's open the dialogue. Let's commission it. Let's make it happen. I'm not the only one who feels this way, but I'm the only one who seems to be taking the initiative to bring these deficiencies to your attention. Thank you.
Okay, and this gentleman, yes, sir, you.
I'm not sure if this is the right place, time, but...
Please state your name again, please.
Mark Wingfield.
Thank you.
Benjamin Mark Wingfield. Ward Road again. It's a, basically a residential road. 25-mile-an-hour speed limit. It has one little speed limit sign right at the top that you can really pass right by when you make the turn off of the Chatham Road, 57. I'm kind of requesting more signs, more, I don't know. The traffic just flies up and down the road because it's really not posted. When you can see ahead of you, they take off. When they get around the curve, they just take off. And I think it needs, better speed limit posting, possibly better patrolling. Like I said, I'm not sure this is the right place, time to bring that up, but between the people that like to just, squall, burn rubber, and then the ones that just like to kick it and rev that engine and fly down the road, it's not really anything prohibiting them because it's not really posted. But it needs to be posted better, and therefore the speed limits could be enforced better. And I guess that's it. Thank you.
Thank you. Is there anyone else wishing to address the board on the matters presented by the public? Anyone? Seeing and hearing no indication as such, that takes us to agenda item 19, if the board so desires to adjourn.
So moved.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. All in favor? It is 6-0, Jennifer. Everyone have a good evening. Thank you again for coming out tonight.